Hello everybody, welcome back to another League of Legends Season 6 patch 5.24 guide. Today we are bringing you Jinx. Now before we hop into the guide, I would just like to say hell yes, we have finally hit 100 subscribers. That is awesome. Thank you to every single one of you out there that is subscribed. This is just the beginning. We have lots more League of Legends to cover, and I really appreciate all the support you guys are giving me, all the thumbs up, the great works, and all that stuff. It's very appreciated. I hope to give my skin giveaway system up soon, so to my subscribers, look out for that. It will be coming very shortly. Now some of you have requested guides, and Jinx was the next in the order. Following this is going to be Hecarim, Kha'Zix, and Annie. So any of you who have requested guides, don't worry, your guides are coming up. I am keeping track of all of them. I've started a new job working overnights recently, so I've been getting used to that. I've been wanting to get League of Legends guides up a lot quicker, but I do have a couple days off now, so I'm going to be putting up a lot really quickly, and I hope to be on the one a day schedule again very shortly. So now that I've covered all of that, let's get right into the Jinx guide. Now Jinx did have a few small minor little tweaks in 5.24. The first one being her Fishbone's cast time was reduced by a little bit, and this will make orb walking a bit easier. And orb walking, if you do not know, is when you attack, move, so you're still moving as much as possible while still getting attacks off. Now the two other little changes were both involving Runaan's Hurricane. The first one, they fixed a bug where Runaan's Hurricane's bolts couldn't crit when using rockets, so obviously they fixed that so they can crit. And the second being Hurricane's bolts are now mini rockets while using Fishbones. So your rockets now do AoE little mini attacks and they can crit. So with all that said, obviously now we have a Runaan's Hurricane in our build. So in this guide, we're going to cover Jinx's pros and cons, her masteries, runes, summoners, each of her abilities, her ability leveling order, her item build, and a few little closing remarks on Jinx as well. So first, let's talk about Jinx's pros and cons, starting with her pros. First, she has great wave clear. With her rockets, she does a lot of AoE damage and she can clear the minion waves very fast. She can also stay in her minigun form to gain a lot of attack speed and kill minion waves that way if she does not want to spend the mana on her rockets. Another benefit Jinx has is very high poke damage. Her rockets gain very large attack range as well as 10% increased damage. So when going into rocket form, she can poke enemies that cannot hit her back and get a lot of free damage that way. Another pro that Jinx has is that she can have very high attack speed with her minigun. You gain attack speed with each attack, which stacks up to 3 times. If you're in a team fight where you do not need the increased range from your rockets, this can be a very effective way to do a lot of damage as you have very high attack speed during this. Jinx's next pro is that her ult can do massive damage if used on a clump team. The way her ultimate works, if it hits a target, any targets that are in a nearby radius also take 80% of that damage. So if there is a clumped team fighting comp that you're against, it can do very, very high amounts of damage to a team like that. Jinx's last pro is that she has Flame Chompers, which are good for CCing as well as zoning. Most AD carries don't have a built-in CC, and it's a very, very beneficial thing for Jinx to have this, as she can combo with support such as Leona to secure easy kills as well. When she's in a team fight, she can drop them down to zone enemies away from her as they do not want to get CC'd in front of her. As good as Jinx is, she still has some cons. One being she has no built-in escape. She's not like a Corki or a Lucian where they can jump away if a target gets to them. The only way Jinx is going to get away is if she flashes, so positioning is very, very important as Jinx. Jinx can also have early mana issues as well. Her rockets actually cost quite a bit of mana when you use them over and over again, so this can be a big issue for Jinx if she needs that range. Next we look at Jinx's masteries, which are 18 Ferocity and 12 Resolve. In Ferocity we take Fury for 4% attack speed, Feast, which gives killing a unit restores 20 HP, which has a 25-second cooldown. Next we take Vampirism, which gives 2% lifesteal and spell vamp, followed by Oppressor, which gives 2.5% increased damage to targets with impaired movement, and your W works to proc this 2.5% damage. We then get Battering Blows for 7% armor pen, and finally Warlord's Bloodlust, which gives crits on enemy champions, heal for 15%, and give 20% attack speed for 4 seconds. Next we move into the Resolve tree, first taking Recovery, which gives 2 health per 5 seconds, followed by Tough Skin, take 2 less damage from champions and neutral monster basic attacks. Then we get Veteran Scars, which gives 45 health. And last, we get Insight, which gives 15% less cooldown on summoner spells. Now looking at Jinx's runes, we take the very typical AD carry runes, which are 9 greater marks of attack damage, 9 greater glyphs of magic resist, 9 greater seals of armor, and 3 greater quintessences of attack speed. Now, if you find that you're a Jinx player that uses your rockets a lot, you can take out some of the magic resist glyphs and get some mana regeneration to help with your lane phase. But if you don't, then stick to these runes listed. Next, we cover Jinx's summoners, which are the very typical AD carry summoners, which are Flash and Heal. You take Flash because it's used for chasing, escaping, repositioning, and much more. Now, Flash is a must-have for Jinx as she does not have a built-in escape in her kit. So next, you take Heal. Heal gives you both health and movement speed, which gives it more than one use. It can be used for escaping and kiting, as well as to heal yourself or a teammate. It's also really fun to use Heal to bait somebody to tower dive you and then pop your heal and kill them, also known as heal baiting. Now time to look at each of Jinx's abilities, starting with her Q, which is called Switcheroo. So the first toggle is Pow Pow, which is her minigun. Jinx's basic attacks each grant her bonus attack speed for 2.5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times for a maximum of between 0 and 70% bonus attack speed, plus an additional amount per rank. The first stack is twice as potent as the others, and stacks decay one at a time when she stops attacking. Now, this is a great way to do a lot of DPS against a single target in a team fight if you know you can't get clumped up damage from your rockets off. On that note, we're now going to touch on the rockets, which is the second part of this toggle, and is called Fish Bones. So Jinx loses 15% total attack speed and her basic attacks gain bonus range. Additionally, each basic attack consumes mana and deals 10% AD bonus damage, dealing their damage to all enemies around the main target. The bonus and splash damage are both factored into critical strikes. Now this ability is great if you need to do long range damage as you don't feel you're safe to move in and use your minigun or do a lot of damage to clumped up team. Next is her W, which is called Zap. Active. After a short delay, Jinx fires a shock blast that deals physical damage to the first enemy it hits, revealing and slowing them for 2 seconds. So the physical damage it does is between 10 and 210 plus 140% AD, and the slow is between 30 and 70% based on the rank. Now it can take you a little bit of time to learn how to use this as there is a short delay. It's not like most skills where you just shoot it and it comes out right away, so that will have a learning curve for you. This is a great ability just for landing some extra poke damage, or if you need to land this to get a slow on your enemy and chase them down with your minigun or rockets. Next is Jinx's E, which is called Flame Chompers, and this what makes Jinx pretty cool as you can chain CC with certain supports, so you can have a really strong kill lane if you are with the right support. So anyways, the active, Jinx tosses out 3 chompers that after 0.7 seconds arming time explode on contact with enemy champions, dealing magic damage over 1.5 seconds to all enemies within a small area, rooting the champion who set off the chomper for the same duration. Chompers explode automatically after 5 seconds. A single champion can set off a single chomper, but can be damaged by multiple chompers if they remain in the range when they explode. Now the damage based off this is magic, and the duration of the CC does not go up with rank, so therefore we max this last, as we only need 1 point in it to get really good effectiveness out of it. And lastly, we have Super Mega Death Rocket, which is Jinx's ultimate. So the active, Jinx fires a rocket that travels in a line, exploding in an area upon hitting an enemy champion. Enemies caught in an explosion take 10 to 100% of the rocket's physical damage based on the distance the rocket traveled, plus additional physical damage based on their missing health, capped at 300 versus minions and monsters. And secondary targets take 80% of the damage. So the minimum physical damage is 25, 35, or 45, plus 10% bonus AD, plus 25, 30, or 35% of target's missing health. Now, since a lot of the damage is based off of the percent of the target's missing health, you should use this to execute enemies if possible. Don't use it early in the team fight, use it later on when you know you can get huge damage out of it. Now that we've looked at each of her abilities, we're going to talk about the ability leveling order. So first is Super Mega Death Rocket, which is your R, and you take it whenever you can, meaning 6, 11, and 16. Next is Switcheroo, which is your Q. You take this at level 1 and it is your main leveling priority. So you take it at 1, 4, 5, 7, and 9. Next is Zap, which is your W. You take this at level 3 and it is your second in leveling priority. So you take it at 3, 8, 10, 12, and 13. Lastly, Flame Chompers, which is your E. You take this at level 2 and it is last in leveling priority. So you take it at 2, 14, 15, 17, and 18. Now that the abilities are out of the way, we're going to look at the item build. So the starters, like always, are a Doran's Blade and a Health Potion. The core build is an Infinity Edge, followed by Runan's Hurricane because split AoE rockets are OP, followed by Berserker Greaves, then Bloodthirster, LDR, and Guardian Angel. If you feel that you don't need the Guardian Angel, you can take a Rapid Fire Cannon if you want to do more DPS, a Mercurial Scimitar if you also want to add more damage but also have a cleanse, or a Banshee's Veil if you know you'll get a lot of block spell value out of it. So that's all for this guide. The new Runan's Hurricane Jinx build is now a very strong build. Enjoy trying the rocket splitting. It's very, very strong damage in team fights as well as farming lanes. Now, Jinx does take a little bit of time to master as she's an AD carry that does not have a built-in escape. If this is the first AD carry you're planning on trying, you should probably switch to either like Lucian or Corki or Tristana, something with an escape. Positioning is extremely important on Jinx, however she does make up for this with the ridiculous amount of damage that she can do. She is definitely a hyper carry and she can carry as hard as Vayne, I would say. If you guys like the guide, please like and subscribe. I would just like to mention again, big thanks to all the subscribers that I do have. We finally hit 100. And we're going to go for many, many more as we keep creating guides. Like I was saying before, there are some requested guides, which are Hecarim and Kha'Zix and Annie to follow. So if anybody's interested in those champions, please check those out when they come out. They will be out very soon. And as always, if you guys have any champion requests, please leave those as well in the comments, and I will add that to the end, and they will be made very shortly. So thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next guide.